Hi friends, it's Annie with Economy, and I'm coming to you from the brave new exactly the same as the old world of 2021. And I need to scan some translucent-ish things. Namely, I got this big bin here of translucent to scan, formerly known as AC, miscellaneous, and Ethernet cables back in the olden days when I kept those kind of things in these kind of folders. This isn't a folder, this is a bin. And these kind of bins. And I thought I'd just show you how I do that in case it's interesting. I have some magic lantern slides in here and some negatives, and also some glass plate negatives. And no, you shouldn't hold any of those things with your fingers on them because you will get, oil and fingerprints on them. So don't do what I just did. All right, I'm going to go over to the scanner and show you how I do this fascinating thing. So this is my scanner that I use for negatives and stuff. It's a flatbed. It's an Epson Perfection V700 photo. And this thing is probably like 15 years old. And they don't make them anymore, but they do make similar ones. Yeah, whatever the most recent model is, highly recommended. This has been working great for, over a decade. This is kind of one of the highest end prosumer models they sold at the time. There was a V750, which allowed you to do, I think the difference was you could do wet mounting, which I don't even want to talk about. But I used to use this when I did more professional photography stuff. I used to exhibit, whatchamacallit, like I exhibited in galleries. It was art, that's what it was. So yeah, I used to use this to scan my analog negatives to print out big things for galleries. So it's really good. Has suffered a little bit over the years in that there are some smudges on the glass, and you can get the glass replaced, which I've never bothered to do since I don't use it for professional purposes anymore. I mean, for eBay, yeah, but not for professional photography. So it's fine, it's good enough. And the deal is, when you're scanning things that the light can pass through, like magic lantern slides or negatives, you need a scanner where the light passes through. So on this one, you pull off this thingy, and there's the way the light passes through. It shoots like through the top or through the bottom, but anyway, it goes all the way through. And the other thing that you might notice is this doohickey. This is called a film area guide, and that is used to help the scanner find the images. There are also negative holders which have specific slots for the sizes of film, which you can use if you're scanning film that's, a relatively normal size. The only negatives I'm scanning today are, I think they're probably 120 size. It's this. And it looks like 120. It could be 620, which was also used at the time, but was the same dimension, I think. It just came on a thicker roll with a different kind of spindle, if I recall correctly. The film area guide thing is very handy for oddly shaped translucent items you're scanning. If you're doing like 35 millimeter or whatever, negative holder is going to give you more exactitude for the scanner finding the items. So I have in my box here some magic lantern slides. This is going to be one lot, and these are all images of, I believe it's a court. I don't know what you call it when the Pope gets popified, made into the Pope. It's not a coronation. It's not an induction. Well, whatever. these are all scenes from, I think, the 30s of the Pope getting popified. And these are all religious art. So, see that? I don't really know how popular these are going to be, but I have them, so I'm going to try to sell them. And I'm going to try to sell this as one huge lot, actually. This as one huge lot, probably. And then these ones are also art, but they're a different set, clearly. I haven't looked at these too closely. Maybe they're not art. Not quite sure. We'll find out. And then I have this little set of tiny magic lantern slides, which are, these are definitely religious art, as you can see. Well, anyway, there we go. And I'll sell that as a little lot. And these look like they were hand colored, which is kind of neat. So there's those. And then I have this lot of celluloid negatives, which are all of, I think, the same guy or the same family doing sports things. Glass negatives, which are all of some bungalow in, I'd say, the 30s, maybe 20s. Actually, it's pretty timeless, who knows, but they're like real estate photos, and I think they're pretty neat. I don't know if anyone else will, but I shall scan them and list them nonetheless. And so here's the process. So I'm going to do, I'll do these little slides. So these are magic lantern slides, which means that they are glass and they are actually positives. So they are used in like a old-fashioned slide projector where light shines through them to project them, which means you want them to sort of be as they are, not negative versions. There's no reason you would need a negative. So I just lay them down like this within the film area guide. So the scanner should be able to find them. And I close the lid. Over here at the computer, I open up my Epson Scan software. And this is the Mac version, and heavens knows how old it is. They probably aren't supporting this scanner anymore or won't soon, and I'll be really irritated when the software doesn't work anymore. But for now, this version of Epson Scan, whatever it is, works. It's version 3.9.4. I like to use professional mode so I see all the options. I know this is not exactly a scanning tutorial, so I'm gonna just give you the general gist of this. I choose film with area guide because that's what I'm scanning, and this is actually color positive film, so we'll say positive film. And I'm gonna just scan it in 72 dpi because this is for the web, i.e. eBay, and that's all it can display. I will, however, make these several times actual size so that you can zoom in and get the details 300%. In terms of the little fancy cleanup stuff that the scanner can do, I try to be pretty conservative with it because I want the scans to look like the actual object, not like a cleaned up version thereof. Unsharp mask will help it be crisp, which shouldn't be too inaccurate. I just have dust removal checked in case there's, which I'm sure there is, lots of dust on the thing. That doesn't necessarily come with it. Digital ice is another cleanup technology, and it's kind of like photo retouching for dummies type stuff, and I'm not gonna turn that on. Neither will I turn on these other corrective things, which will make it look different than it actually is in real life. So I'm gonna just do a preview first to see how this is working with these kind of images, which I haven't scanned before. Okay, here they are. They look really cool. I mean, I know it's just, you know, religious art, but they look really cool and colorful in their hand colored glory here. I think I'm just gonna scan them. I think they look great. Now there is a way that I could select each one and create individual scans. I don't think I'm going to bother with that, though maybe it's efficacious. I'll just trim them out in my photo editing software to make separate images for each one. Or I could scan it really huge and then just use that same image in eBay and crop in on the right one. So I'll just make this, let's see, rough guess, 600%, but we're still at 72 dpi, so the file shouldn't be too enormous. And we'll give it a scan. Okay, so the scan is complete, and I'm going to open the actual file. When I double click this JPEG, it opens in preview because I'm on the Mac. I was thinking about just using this and cropping it in eBay. The other option would be to just crop them in some image editing software. Something like Photoshop would be super easy and quick, or you could get the free open source version of Photoshop for any operating system, which is called GIMP, G-I-M-P. Just download that and it does everything Photoshop does, and it's free. Or if you're on the Mac, you could use Preview, or if you're on the PC, you could use whatever the sort of free image editing, PDF cropping, whatever thing is. So the way I'll probably do this, though it might seem obnoxious, is to just grab crops in Preview, and I hit Apple K for crop, which is, where do we find that? Crop. And then do a save as, which in Apple software for some reason is called duplicate, just because it's like not standardized, which is annoying to me. Look at that. That looks cool. So we'll just save this one as like a lantern 1 JPEG. And then we'll go back, and then I hit Apple Z or undo to go back to the whole thing and just repeat this process where crop it and then save it as lantern2.jpg and then go back to here and undo, and so on and so forth. So let me just make these files and then I'll show you something else. So I just plopped down those celluloid negatives, the silver nitrate negatives, on the scanner, and we're going to see how those look. I just plopped them down the same way, not in film holders or anything. So with those guys, I still want the light to show through them, but they are black and white negative film. I just set it for that and then do a preview scan. Here they come. So it scans them as they are, but I think it flips them, inverts them when it finishes. Yeah. Okay, so this is what these photos look like. These are not necessarily super exciting. Well, he's in different uniforms, it looks like, and in this like crazy tie and collar and sporting outfit. But the rest of the set, or actually already scanned, are more interesting, so these will go with those as well. The other set, he's like riding a horse and doing tennis and all different sports. For these, I can do the same thing and scan them at 72 dpi. I'm gonna make these 300% so that people can really zoom in. It looks like these are really nice crispy photos, which one loves. So I'll just hit scan and I'll be back with you when they're done scanning. Okay, so here's the photos I just scanned, and I can cut those out as individual images in Preview like I did with the lantern sides, or I can do it in Photoshop, or I could upload this whole thing and just crop in eBay. But I do want to make sure that I show them, or at least some, as negatives. Reinforce that you're buying negatives, not positive, prints of images. So I could do this in Photoshop or various and sundry software I might have, but a free and easy way is to just Google invert images or invert colors, and there's lots of free tools out there. This is the first one that came up for me. pinetools.com, invert images colors. So pinetools.com. So I'm just going to choose my picture. There it is, and choose invert. And wow, that was fast. There it is as negative again, and I will just download that as a PNG. And there it is. Open it. And there's my inverted one. So I will show this in my listing, probably just this whole thing, because I want to emphasize that you're buying negatives, and I'll put it, you know, in words in the listing a million times as well. Okay, hold on, we'll try something else. I really should have said that you could have also just scanned these as black and white negatives and as positives, and the positives would give you the negative because they're negatives. It doesn't invert. So that's another way you can get both positive and negative images without converting them. Okay, so now I put down 2 glass plate negative slides on the scanner, and we'll preview those. They're also black and white negative film, even though they're glass, not plastic film. And these guys are huge, so I can only fit 2. They're about 5 by 7, maybe a little less. And they're really, glass plate negatives are so cool. I mean, it doesn't even matter what they are. Like, look at those images. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, look at all the tonal quality and the grays. So many shades of gray, and it's so crisp. And look at this, the lake and this little bungalow thing. It's great. That's what those look like. So you can scan glass plate negatives the same way you would scan regular film. And I'm just going to, I'll just do those at 200%. And even that's probably overkill for size for eBay. But I'll just give those a scan. Okay, so this is the scan that I created, and I could separate those again in preview by cropping. And like, look at that. That was amazing. Look at the detail. Just a screen resolution scan. Look at that funny, I guess, mushroom. Oh, and the deer head and everything. And look at, like, this photo ranges from this bright light outside to the dark in the corner. It's very interesting. Anyway, and then this one. But we'll stop ranting about glass plate negative photos, and you get the idea of how you do these. You could do the inversions either in that free software online, or you could do another scan as positive. Just do a preview for kicks. Okay, so there's I just scanned these negatives as positive, which means it doesn't change, it doesn't invert them, so we get negatives, which is cool. I think I will actually do a scan of them this way. So everything else in my translucent items to scan box is more of the same. There's different sets of magic lantern slides, and then I've got some more of these big glass plate negatives, but they all go together. They're all of this cabin in the woods, whatever its story is, I don't know. And so I hope that that was vaguely interesting in how you work with translucent media to prepare it for eBay, and also just taking a look at some different kinds of old photo stuff. If this was helpful, do please hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing. Hope your new year is going swimmingly. Thank you, and take care.